Hello, everybody. I'm Alicia, author of the book Don't Be a Stranger and Rodan & Fields consultant in the skincare world. And as you know, I love to use this channel as a platform for personal and professional development, helping people change from the inside out and the outside in. So what I would love to talk about with you today is an intervention that I often use with my clients, specifically targeting negative self-talk, self-doubt, anxiety, depressed thoughts, and helping them to really recognize and empower themselves to see how much we can actually affect emotional change and regulation, improvements in our communication and relationships simply by changing the things that we tell ourselves in our mind. If you're a follower of Brene Brown, who is an amazing speaker and motivational influencer, she has this concept that she's talked about in her videos that she references as the story I tell myself. And it's kind of along the lines of what I'm going to talk about today, but just from a different spin. So I wanted to share with you 3 different interventions and how I put them together as a way of helping people in my world. So, and as well, by the way, myself, I utilize them myself and it's been really impactful. So you've probably heard psychologists talk about thought stopping or the rubber band technique. I can talk about them in a different video separately as far as multiple examples, but let's just focus on one. The rubber band technique is a form of thought stopping. Why would we want to stop our thoughts? Well, because sometimes our thoughts tend to run away with themselves. They tend to be catastrophic. We think of the worst case scenarios. If you've visited my website yet, www.foranewYou2.com, you will see that the website is branded around this concept of what if. What if you dreamt bigger? What if life were incredible beyond your wildest imaginations, and yet we miss out on opportunities because of our fears, because of our worries, because we're fixated on what could go wrong? What if we thought about everything that could go right? So what do we use this rubber band technique for? What I coach folks to do is whenever you catch yourself thinking something negative or something self-defeating or just beating up on yourself, potentially thinking negative things or judgmental things about others, slap that rubber band on your wrist. So I just slapped it hard enough where I'm feeling it. It's throbbing for a second. I don't want to hurt myself. Please don't hurt yourself. But the idea is to get your attention. And it's to start to help you get aware of how often you live in these self-defeating thoughts, how often your thoughts go to the negative. They're skewed in a direction that is not helpful. So it doesn't stop there though. So that's just step 1 of becoming aware of how often you spend time sitting in these negative thoughts or allowing those negative thoughts to automatically just take over. So in order to be intentional, where a lot of my work is about being intentional, be intentional with your word, be intentional with your apologies, be intentional with your gratitude, be intentional with where you position yourself, how you carry yourself, your choices. Know what your intention is when you seek to take action and when you make choices. So we snap it, we become aware. Now we've got to take that next step and be intentional about how we reframe the thought we just caught. So psychologists talk about reframing as a way of changing, restructuring, confronting negative thoughts. Again, that's another video. I could do all sorts of videos talking about these various tools for anxiety management, but just in short, snap that rubber band when you catch yourself being negative and just notice how often you do it. That alone, awareness alone, starts to get your attention, right? And when we get your attention, you start making changes. Then I have a sentence root. Now, I've tried to write it backwards or what have you so that those of you on the screen can actually read it. So I hope I've been successful in doing that. I think so. This is not easy, by the way. So just because ... does not mean, sorry, I'm not good at doing this, but I would not make it as Vanna White. Just because X does not mean blank. You could do X, Y, you could do blank, whatever you want. As long as it's clear where the dots are is where your work is as far as intentionally challenging and redirecting your patterns. So this sentence structure fits in connecting so many thoughts and feelings. Happy ones, sad ones. Let me give you a few examples. So I wrote down a few examples literally just from my day to day and some of the conversations I've had with my clients. Just because I did not feel unconditionally loved does not mean I wasn't. Just because I think my partner is mad at me doesn't mean she is. Just because she turned away from my hug or just because she declined my kiss doesn't mean she doesn't like me or care or want that. Just because this person broke up with me doesn't mean I'm bad, or doesn't mean no one will ever want me, or doesn't mean that was the love of my life that I've now lost. Just because I've changed jobs or lost my job doesn't mean I won't work again. It doesn't mean I won't make my bills. Just because I'm feeling down doesn't mean I will always feel this way. Just because I'm in pain doesn't mean I'll always feel pain. Just because I see no way out today doesn't mean there's no way out. Or doesn't mean I won't feel better tomorrow. So you might be asking yourself, okay, well now what? So I said just because doesn't mean, but then what? The then what is the maybe. I do want to point out, though, I mentioned this could also be used for positive feelings. And so you can definitely connect all sorts of different connections in here. You just want to make sure you keep it positive. Just because today was a great day doesn't mean tomorrow can't get better. So it's a bit of a stretch, but it's really the epitome of positive thinking and resilience, right? So what do I mean by the maybe? So let's go back through those examples. So just because I don't feel unconditional love doesn't mean I didn't have it. Maybe they don't know how to express it the way I need to understand it. Or maybe they weren't taught how to do it differently, but they still loved me the best they could. Just because she seems mad at me doesn't mean she is. Maybe she's in pain. Maybe she's having a bad day. Maybe she's deep in thought about something. Just because she turned away my hug doesn't mean she's rejecting me. Again, maybe she's busy, maybe she's distracted. Just because this person broke up with me doesn't mean that no one will ever love me. Maybe they weren't right for me and they left my life so that I would have space to meet the next person I'm destined to be with, or to meet the next relationship that will help me continue to learn the lessons I need to learn. Just because I'm feeling down doesn't mean I won't be better tomorrow. Maybe there's a lesson that I'm supposed to be learning in this moment. Maybe this pain is here to teach me something, right? Maybe the wisdom of what's going on in my life right now is simply to experience this and be okay tolerating discomfort and to learn that I'll be all right tomorrow. So I want you to understand that that's where the reframing comes in. This is where you lift yourself up. So this is where you stop yourself from beating yourself down into the ground. This is where you stop kicking that kid when he or she is down. This is where you pick that little kid back up and say, we got this. We're going to do this together. We're going to get through this. Everything is going to turn out okay. So I would love for you to practice this, share any thoughts on like how you can connect it. And please, always in my network, keep it classy, keep it positive. Let's keep it resilient. I want us together to be creating a kinder world, one memorable moment at a time. So with that, thank you for joining me. You can definitely find more on my blog, on my website, again, www.fornewyou2.com. There's some fantastic grounding techniques. If you go in the blog and do a search for grounding, I share lots of different ways that you can ground yourself and redirect your attention and focus, especially in times of anxiety, stress, emotional turmoil, so that you can objectively be able to handle some of life's stressors without reacting to them, and while sitting with what might be coming up for you, or simply positively, resiliently distracting your attention. So I'll be sure to do another video on that, but thank you so much for joining me and have an amazing, amazing day.